Hello, yeah, I'm Neil Smith.
Yeah.
I am an enterprise fellow in the School of Design. Because I think that having worked with Eric Behaviour for a number of years, I think it's important to understand the sort of journey maps and the processes that other universities and institutions work through when they're developing design strategy and external collaboration. And we quickly realised, although what we were doing didn't seem maybe to us particularly new or novel, when you start scaling that up to a global situation, it's a hell of a lot bigger. And what we're doing has had much more of a ripple effect, in the way that it's changed the way that we look out. It's actually supporting new collaboration, which is, I think, long term going to be very valuable for the school moving forward. I think what we set out to do was really develop a new strategy and develop open access tools that we can repeat and use and engage people without any sort of additional costs. I think that's key and important. And it's certainly one of the aspirations of the university in partnership and collaboration. It's on their manifesto, but how much they actually deliver, it's happening. But I think we're pretty much in the vanguard of a lot of that new thinking. Major challenges are how do you build a team ethos, which is both internal, but then share those ideas across, across the world, and then interpretation. It's action and reaction. It's easy if you're in a face-to-face meeting to understand body language, to understand different sorts of nuances of how people are behaving, and we tend to underestimate the power of that. We struggle when we communicate just by text or by telephone. There's so many times that we can fall into misunderstanding. The fact you can video conference doesn't gives you more opportunities to see the person and to talk, but the real challenges are sharing ideas. How do you actually create a community where it's remote, where you may never be in physical contact with any of the other parties? Fundamentally, yes, of course it's useful. We've got these crazy barriers. You can't. I think the good thing, the things that worked at a staff level, there was never any ambiguity about ambition, about working with people like Mike, who I didn't really know before that. Working with, having Gilbert's involvement, having Thomas's involvement. It was fantastic, I just thought as a sort of staff engagement, we were doing these seminar groups and tutorials, there was real sharing of ideas. We were talking about stuff that, was left of field for all of us, out of a comfort zone at times, although probably not for Gilbert, but still well within his, so staff engagement, great, I think Thomas completely, and Mike absolutely, completely were behind it. There was never one moment where they didn't think it was a great thing to do. They saw it as a fabulous opportunity. And they've said, we've got to do more of it. So, in that sense, at a staff level, it was flawless, I think we've ended up with clunky systems so far. I think we've but all of the increments have been right. And they've all happened for very good reasons. And I think that, the very best of what we've got is that anything that we've done, we have a huge sort of data bank, because everything's now sort of preserved within those sorts of, within the internal structure of the project, which gives you a time code, it gives you are pretty exacting what happened where and when. I think that is almost exemplary. I doubt if anyone took you through any other sort of piece of project research you'd ever get that. I think the downside is for the students, it seems at times they felt it's a bit mechanical. And it sort of runs against the sort of currency of people naturally using social networking. Because there's a sort of viral and immediacy sort of activity going on there that it's very hard for us to capture in a project like this, because we have lots of key aims. We have to firewall information that might be company and organisational, sort of sensitive. And so it's been a juggle between a very open reveal and a sort of contained and managed environment. And I think it's been incredibly successful in doing that, because working with people like Intel, they wouldn't have uploaded information as they did if they felt that they weren't working within a well-managed site. They just wouldn't have engaged where if it was into sort of very open space.